Yeah, so we're playing
Yeah.
episode 4 of this game, and these are gonna take probably
It's a
as
great
long
game.
as the previous 3 combined. So yeah, this is called The Adventure of the Clouded Kokoro, which means heart.
Translator's note. Takaiku means plan.
Cool, isn't it? Okay. Okay, I did not forget to start the stream.
I begin to think, Wilson, said Sholmes, turning his head languidly in my direction, that there is more to this case than that which we have observed. Indeed,
No
that
kidding.
there may be another part to this story that we are yet to discover. His eyes wandered, following the steam rising from his cup of herbal tea,
Both
leading him to the distant memory of that snowy evening.
Oh Jesus.
To the young lady
Someone is dead.
collapsed on the pavement along Briar
No
Road,
way, someone died in Ace
with a
Attorney.
knife in her back. Lit in the soft glow of gas lamps, a most extraordinary scene had been set. And under the cover of a light fog, the curtain had risen silently on the insoluble mystery of our invisible killer.
Oz, okay. I need to like wake up. I haven't done this.
Here again.
Haven't done anything like this in a week. I'm still like kind of loopy from the trip back from yesterday. Like,
Yeah, fair enough.
I came back and I like went to bed immediately, and now I'm here. Didn't even get to unpack yet, but whatever.
Jesus. She's like calling you out.
Yeah.
Did you sleep last night, Mr. Naruhodo?
No, not at all.
It was an enormous hotel, wasn't it? The rooms were so luxurious, I felt like we were staying in a palace. And with all the gas lights twinkling, it was brighter than day, even in the middle of the night.
What about the enormous beds? After my time on the SSL Claire, I wasn't going to waste a single inch of that space. Spent the entire night rolling from one side of the mattress to the other.
Oh, yes, it really was the sort of night you can only dream of normally. I'm just picturing in my head, he's like fucking... He's on this bed like the size of a football field, and it takes him like half the night to roll all the way to one end of the bed.
Yeah.
And then it takes him the rest of the night to roll back to the other bed.
Just fucking like rolling back and forth. like you speed it up and he's just like a fucking printer.
Yeah.
God. God, okay.
Except when I learned that we owned £3 for the rooms, that dream quickly turned into a nightmare. How much was £3 back then?
I don't know.
And you get like a guinea thrown at you?
Yeah, really. Oops, sorry about that. The building was so impressive and the entrance so inviting, I just wandered in without thinking.
In a lodging house in Japan, that sum of money would put a roof over your head for a whole year. Jesus.
What is currency right now?
Yeah. I did try, but I'm afraid I couldn't help my tears when we were presented with the bill.
Ugh, I really am sorry.
Well, never mind. We must find some more affordable lodgings straight away, though. If we're not careful, our entire stipend will be used up in 10 days or less.
Your stipend could let you like live on your own for a year, Jesus.
Apparently.
Like my stipend was just like I could live for a month maybe. Ugh,
Jesus.
London is a scary place. What was his voice? He was like Symphony of the Night of Dracula. Like, what is a man?
Yeah.
Good morning to you at this early hour. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Oh yes, well. Good start.
Good morning to you, Lord Chief Justice. We have come to report on the outcome of the trial at the Old Bailey yesterday.
Sato is amazing. She doesn't bat an eyelid even in the presence of the imposing Lord Vortex. What a
The
name.
imposter.
Yeah. Yes, I believe you had a very comprehensive initiation into British courtroom practices. Oh yes, it was very eye-opening. Thank you.
And in accordance with your instructions, Lord Vortex, Mr. Naruhodo performed his duty to the end.
Yes, I've already been apprised of the events. You conducted a remarkable defense. You may consider the test passed. Oh! No longer are you a student from the Empire of Japan. You may henceforth claim to be a fully fledged lawyer.
After one case, that's it.
That's all it takes. My country is delighted to welcome young talent from such a remote eastern land. Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. So, I'm a lawyer now. That just happened. Now,
well,
in
that
view
just
of your
happened.
new appointment, I have a fresh case in mind for you. Oh, I'd like you to take it on at once. I trust that won't be a problem. Another case? Already? Nothing trains a lawyer better than practical experience. I'm just thinking of that one video where instead of the Dracula just like going through his usual speech, he just drops his glass immediately and goes, FUCK! I'm sure I don't sense dissatisfaction, do I? Can we get like a law office or something? It's just that yesterday's trial ended unusually. I haven't quite come to terms with it. What's to come to terms with? The man was cleared. What more were you hoping for? He wouldn't die. The culpability of the defendant has not at the present time been established by this court. Consequently, the jury will not be required to proffer judgment.
Oh shit, we're reading this part still? Okay, hang on.
Yeah, because it's been a week, so it's fine, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough. Try to remember how do I do this guy's voice. It was fucking like,
well...
I'm not a good gnome. I'm not a goblin. I'm a gnome. Alright. Well, Lord Van Zakes, it's been a pleasure, so it has.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And as for you, my dear fella, I couldn't have asked for a better defense.
I'm so innocent.
I'm so innocent, I'll do an evil laugh in front of the whole courtroom.
Just can't help wondering if Mr. McGonagall really was innocent.
Mr. Naruhodo!
It's just that I never managed to ascertain the truth. And then the trial ended. Well, you needn't let it trouble you for a second longer. Sorry?
What do you mean, Lord Vortex?
Cosney McGonagall passed away immediately following
Wait,
the
what?
trial.
What the fuck? Okay. No!
What? Mr. McGonagall is dead?
The birds.
I have 19 minutes and 41 seconds until my next engagement. Time enough to talk. Okay.
Just dropped this shit on you.
I don't understand. What happened? How can he be dead? After the trial concluded yesterday, there was a great commotion in the Old Bailey. As you'll presumably recall, an omnibus had been wheeled into the courtroom. Yes, of course, that was the scene of the crime which Mr. McGonagall had been accused of. Precisely. Precisely. Well, while the bailiff's attention was diverted by some other matter, the omnibus went up in flames. No.
Could such a thing have happened?
A lot of fire hazards, you see. This is being investigated as we speak, but already. Police have identified a corpse found inside a charred shell of the carriage as that of McGonagall. That's awful! The man must have slipped inside whilst the bailiff's attention was elsewhere. That bailiff really needs to pay more attention. He needs to be fired.
Bailiff. And how could that have happened?
That is also being investigated as we speak.
Set that man on fire. Thinking back now, immediately after the trial, Mr. McGundle did mention going back into the courtroom to look at the omnibus. Well, I must be making tracks now. It's time for the inspection.
Sorry, what inspection?
They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for it myself.
An inspection of the omnibus? Not to my knowledge. I don't believe Scotland Yard had any intention of re-examining the carriage.
Oh.
I can't turn on audio. Can someone chat me the answer to a question? What?
Huh? Let me check the Twitch chat.
I don't understand. Why the fuck are you asking us this in the chat here? What?
Who was asking that? I didn't have the chat open until now.
Chromio. Okay.
Oh.
Never mind that now. The Yard is making a thorough investigation.
Why are you asking that in here?
I don't understand. This matter is no longer any concern of yours. Leave it to the police.
Poor Mr. McGundle.
So, how did you find your first taste of our country's Supreme Court?
It sucked.
Just go on Google or something. Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, it was wow.
There was. Mr. Naruhodo means that the whole experience was steeped in the solemnity of Great Britain's long history.
I'm just...
Why are you asking about ovaries in this chat?
So I don't know.
It's really a world apart from our own judicial system in Japan, which is only a few short decades old.
Wow, Susaru has such a way with words.
And you seem to have a way of failing to find the right ones.
She says she's psychic,
Okay.
I forgot. Okay.
True.
The judicial system here is the most advanced in the world. Learn all you can. Most advanced in the world, is it? Bye, okay. Okay, that was
Alright.
weird. Your very first trial was a simple affair. What did he say
I don't
before?
think it was that simple.
It was fortunate, okay, that your very first trial was a simple affair.
Simple? That was simple? Simple.
As I believe I mentioned yesterday morning, it was a trial you couldn't lose.
I don't mean to be contrary, Lord Vortex, but the case was anything but simple.
Die. The circumstances of the case were so incriminating, I was stunned when I first heard them. In fact, I'm still finding it hard to believe that we managed to get a favorable verdict. Is something funny? No. My apologies. However, the fact is that you did receive the not guilty verdict you set out to achieve. And that can only be attributed to exceptional talent, wouldn't you agree? I guess this voice doesn't fit him at all, but whatever. Well, I don't know about that. I should, like look up the... what was his name? Like, Time from
Dracula?
Alice looking for the looking glass. Or, yeah, for the looking glass. He was just like, who has talked their last talk and talked their last tick? Something like that.
Oh.
Well, never
I mean, I
mind.
haven't seen
Yeah. You exceeded my expectations, I freely admit. That much is at least an undeniable truth. Which is precisely why I've presented the new case for you that I mentioned before. That's a bit better, I think. What's going on? What was he going to say before? Every time. Okay, new case.
Could you perhaps give us some more details about the new case you mentioned?
Don't tell me it's a murder and that the trial starts in 10 minutes. The autosave.
I was gonna say exactly that.
Don't worry, it's nothing so alarming or quite so urgent as your last assignment. In fact, this case is completely different. What did you say?
It's only a murder that starts in 10 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Did he just read my mind? That is to say, no one has died as yet.
That's not promising.
And the trial will not be today, it's tomorrow. There's plenty of time to research the case thoroughly. 23 hours, 43 minutes, and 19 seconds to be precise.
Thank you.
So the trial is tomorrow then.
Is everything alright?
Oh yes, I'm just a little confused, that's all. Yesterday's trial was, well, it's left me wondering if I'm really cut out for being a lawyer.
Oh, Mr. Naruhodo.
I don't know if I could face standing in that courtroom after Mr. McGondle's trial. Ah yes, I nearly forgot. There is one similarity with yesterday's case.
It's a murder case.
Once again, there is currently no one to advocate for the defense. Oh! If the situation remains unchanged, the trial will start tomorrow with the defendant unrepresented. You can't do that. And if that happens, I need to remind you of the inevitable outcome.
The most terrible end awaits the defendant.
Yes, that's right. Ugh, here we go again. Woohoo!
Yahoo!
Yippee! Your time is up. You will have to excuse me. I would advise you to begin making preparations for tomorrow's trial. After all, the clock is ever ticking. The clock is ever ticking. God.
Clock is ticking, gentlemen. Let's begin.
There is now but 23 hours, 26 minutes, and 39 seconds until the court sits. Last time he mentioned 23 hours, he said there was plenty of time. And one more thing, Mr. Naruhodo. There is something I should like to ask you. Oh, what's that? He's so jumpy.
Will you take my white ass to Six Flags?
Not again, goddamn. I was thinking about that yesterday. Like, how long is it gonna be until Rory says the fucking Six Flags line again? 22:45, okay. Yesterday you remarked upon something. That you intend to see through the will of your late compatriot, Mr. Isogi. But why this now again? Why?
Music is different.
I would be interested to hear what exactly you mean by that. Insight 34 seconds. We're timed.
Whoa, okay.
Oh, where because you see that he wanted to learn how the greatest justice system in the world worked, so he could change our laws in Japan. Now that he's going, I'd like to work out towards that myself. And there's another thing. Oh. Another thing. Continue. On the way there, on the steamship, he said something up to me. There's something very important I have to do. Something very important, and what exactly would that be? He never had a chance to tell me. I suppose he would have done if he'd ever made it to Great Britain. You're out of time. Well, thank you for the enlightening discussion. I wonder if that was like exactly 30-something seconds.
Maybe. Mr. Naruhodo, what's all this about? Mr. Asugi never mentioned anything of the sort to me. Yeah, that's because he's gay.
Oh god. I urge you both to focus your attentions on the matter at hand. Oh, I've taken the liberty of summoning the police inspector in charge of the case. He'll be able to apprise you of the details. How long has he been there? He just appeared.
Wait, is that Watson?
No, Watson was in the first case. Died.
What do you mean he died?
John H. Watson, he died. In the first
Oh.
case. So, I wish the best of luck and bid you farewell. Goodbye.
No. I mean, like, he's localized as Wilson, I think.
Yeah.
So that was him? He died? Okay.
Wilson! I'm sorry, Wilson.
There's something very important that I have to do. Cosmo, what did you mean? What did he mean by this?
I wish I knew, but honestly, he never told me. Anyway, we'd had better talk to the detective, don't you think?
The defective.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
I hope I'm just imagining it, but I wouldn't say he looks pleased to see us at all.
He would rather not be here.
Oh, I can only examine, okay. Fish and chips, okay. Could we trouble you? Oh yeah, well, we did hear him in the cutscene, he was like, "What do you think?" And then more British. "What do you think?" Yeah, that's good.
He's got no neck. He has his neck and his chin are like the same.
Yeah. Ah! Lovely weather, isn't it? Lovely day for it. What's the weather got to do with anything?
This guy's a bit.
Listen to me, you young Japanese upstart. Some frippery about the weather doesn't get every English gent eating out of your hand, you know?
Yeah, because you're too busy eating out of your own hand.
But Susato told me it was foolproof. I'm a busy man, a very busy man.
I have to eat this fucking chip.
There's a crime scene to investigate, but I'm here having to give the likes of you a talking to. You try to like tone this down a little bit. I'm ever so sorry. Can you imagine what the other officers there will be saying, I haven't seen Gregson anywhere, have you? No, he's too busy with the bigwigs these days. And it's all because of some bumpkin who's here on a jaunt from a country I've never even heard of.
Why is everyone so racist?
Hear that ripping sound? That's my reputation. That's the are going to tatters.
I can't hear anything over the sound of you fucking like munching those chips down.
There's no need to rip us apart as well.
I don't believe we've been introduced.
She just cuts the bullshit.
This is Mr. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, a defense lawyer.
Hey.
It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant.
Hey.
It's lovely weather we're having today, isn't it?
It is unseasonably fine, I grant you. London winters don't see a lot of sunshine. Unbelievable! How did she pull that off?
She has the X chromosomes.
So, Lord Vortex has asked me to fill you in on the case. Yeah. My name's Tobias Gregson, Inspector Gregson to you. I'm from Scotland Yard. I keep changing his voice.
Inspector Gregson?
Inspector Gadget. What's the matter with Susato? Does this detective's name mean something to her? Alright, we're gonna talk some more.
Inspector, are you perhaps the Inspector Gregson?
You're acting like you know this man, Mr. Sato, but he's a London detective.
Oh, I do know him. Very well, in fact.
Very well?
Yes, he features prominently in the adventures of Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, in that publication. What's it called again? Rants magazine?
That's right. Inspector Gregson and Mr. Holmes enjoy a wonderful friendly rivalry.
Really?
Such a
You
fan,
rival the great Mr. Holmes? That's incredible. Oh, well, I don't know about that. Mr. Holmes isn't a professional like myself, of course. But he does come out with the goods from time to time.
Mr. Holmes is equally complimentary about you, Inspector, isn't he? You've earned his highest praise. I don't know about that. Gregson is the pick of a bad lot of all the Scotland Yarders. Those were his own words.
That's his highest praise? Yeah, he just says like you're the best of the worst.
Well, Mr. Holmes isn't particularly known for giving compliments, you see.
That he is not. And thanks to that magazine, my name's known all over London town now. That's great, isn't it? I'll have to admit at the start I was a little flattered by all the attention. Everyone wanted to shake my hand, and my reputation at the yacht went through the roof. Well, that's wonderful. No, it is not. There is nothing more sinister than a man on the street. People are always looking at me now. They're whispering rumors about me under their breath, I'm sure. Rumors?
Are you quite sure?
He's changed since he started appearing in those stories. The fame's gone to his head, stuff like that.
Gosh, do you really think people are saying such mean-spirited things about you?
Like I said, they whisper, so I can't catch exactly what they're saying. But I know what the folk are like. Oh, I'm sure that's what they're saying. I'm sure as eggs is eggs. I get the feeling this detective could be very hard work.
Oh dear, perhaps a sudden rise to fame does change people.
Alright. So, about the case that the Lord Chief Justice mentioned before. Nothing to tell, really. As far as we're concerned at the yard, it couldn't be simpler.
Oh dear, that probably means that as far as we're concerned as lawyers, it couldn't be more complicated.
I wish we were wrong about it, but I have a nasty feeling you're right. A young woman was walking along the pavement on the Briar Road when she was stabbed from behind. Fortunately, it wasn't fatal, but she's still laid up in the hospital, unconscious.
Despicable! What sort of coward would attack the poor woman from behind?
I am the spy. I suppose you would have finished it, whoever it was off with a suicidal takedown, would you?
That is neither here nor there, Mr. Naruhodo.
Brace yourself, Ryunosuke, you've angered her now.
You've invoked her wrath.
Anyway, after something of a whirlwind investigation, the criminal was arrested. He barely had time for a cup of tea after the incident took place, to be honest. So there must have been something left at the scene that led you directly to the culprit.
Or perhaps a reliable witness who recognized the person in question.
Let me stop you right there. You're wasting your time on this one. Sorry? There's nothing you can do. There's no way to help the bloke now. Why ever not? Simple. They did it. The prosecutor has been assigned to the trial tomorrow is Lord Barrack von Zeeks. No!
What, this bitch again?
Sounds like you've heard of him then. I'm going a bit too, like, groany on him.
No, that's fine.
Again.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. We are very familiar with Lord Van Zeeks. Believed to be the harbinger of death itself.
The Reaper of the Bailey. Okay, we're not done. Lord Barrack von Zeeks, who he faced in court only yesterday.
Mr. McGundle told us about him before the trial, didn't he?
When Vags... Oh. I think that's you
Is that
still.
me?
Yeah.
Alright. When Van Zeeks stands for the prosecution, they call the accused his sacrificial lambs.
Strike his pee-pee.
And in every single trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned.
This Reaper of the Bailey nickname. I suppose he's earned that because every defendant he advocates against is found guilty. Is that it?
Well, if that's the case, we should inform you, Inspector.
We whipped and nay-nayed him yesterday.
And in yesterday's trial against Lord Van Zeeks, Mr. Naruhodo whipped and nay-nayed him.
Ah, and what of it?
Oh, well, I think... That means that even against the Reaper of the Bailey, it's not impossible to save the defendant.
No, you really don't have a clue, do you? What do you mean?
We just told you.
What
He put
happened?
fish and chips in his bucket.
What happened to that bloke in the end, eh? He's dead. Ah! Cosney McGundle came to a cropper in that omnibus when it went up in flames. So you can't rightly say you saved the defendant, can you? What are you saying? Look, if Van Zeeks could get the dirt on to stick on everyone, he'd be a miracle worker. But that's not how it goes. He doesn't work miracles. He works magic. Black magic. I'd have to have a good long think about that if I were you. Are we really supposed to believe that?
He's still eating his fish and chips. It's like magically regenerating.
Yeah. Right, well, I filled you in as requested, and I'm nearly out of chips. So I'll be heading back to the crime scene now. Still carrying out a few investigations there.
It was Friar Road, you said, didn't you? Where the incident took place.
That's correct, ma'am. And if you head over to the hot holding cells, you can meet the criminal himself. You've branded him a criminal already. He's as good as shaking like a leaf in a cell, he is. It'll give you a chuckle if nothing else. He's inmate 53. Speak to the jail and he'll show you the way. Inmate 53. Thank you. Alright.
He just disappeared. British people do that sometimes.
Yeah. It's the fog. So there's no helping anyone against the Reaper of the Bailey, they say.
Is something troubling you, Mr. Naruhodo?
So, imagine he just like kills everyone he has no, like, that gets off the hook.
That's why he's so edgy.
Yeah. He drinks their blood.
Jesus. To tell the truth, when I recall the trial yesterday, I can't stop myself from shaking. The idea of facing the Reaper in court again is... Well, if you think it's too much for you, there's no shame in turning the case down. That takes courage, too.
But if the man they've arrested is innocent, you could well imagine he would be shaking like a leaf in his cell. And I, for one, wouldn't find the sight of that funny.
I would. So...
If I'm honest, I'm still reeling from the shock of yesterday's events myself. And I'm really not sure if I'll be able to help this man, whoever he is. But I'd like to try, so I think I'm going to make some inquiries. Will you help?
Did you really think you had to ask? After all, I am your judicial assistant.
Thank you.
She's so based.
So then, shall we?
Yes! Let's go!
My god. I wanna, do this chair
you?
first. We can now.
This must be the Lord Chief Justice's desk. I believe it's made of marble.
Looks like an over-the-top tombstone that's toppled over to me.
Part of the aesthetic. I think that's your fanciful imagination at work again, Mr. Naruhodo.
Looks like everything that's normally made of wood and paper at home is made of bricks and stone here. Build it up
I
with
know!
bricks and stones.
That's why this place feels so overbearing, I'm sure.
Pillars. Yeah. Just look at the naughty books packed together on these shelves. They go from floor to ceiling.
And they're all books that you couldn't hope to come by in Japan. It's like a dream.
Yes, a very bad dream.
They're not all about British law, either. There are books here about the judicial systems of other Western nations. Like what? France, Germany, Spain, Holland...
What about Russia?
Oh, Russia doesn't exist yet. Why do you ask?
I was wondering about asking the Lord Chief Justice how you say wardrobe in Russian. What do you think?
I think perhaps it's a thought best abandoned.
Okay, this is all one side. Oh, the knight, okay. Look at these menacing metal giants facing each other across the room.
I believe they're suits of armor.
Oh, right. I thought maybe they were like the lion dogs we have in Japan guarding shrine gates.
No, not at all. In fact, in Europe, suits of armor like these are always possessed by evil spirits, you know? And they roam around in the middle of the night.
Really? Is there nothing you don't know, Mrs. Sato?
This book tells me everything I need to know about everything. If you're ever unsure, just ask.
Where did she get that incredible tome? It's like the
Barnes and Noble.
the Boy Scout
Oh,
guide from DuckTales. What?
Expect there's gears in the back.
Yeah.
Gears. Yeah.
Ears. Is this some kind of clock?
Actually, I think we might be inside some sort of giant clock. But those gears are larger than anything you'd find on a steam locomotive, even.
I guess that's a clock face in the back.
Yeah, it is.
It's eerie. Do you think clocks are some sort of hobby of his? Lord Chief Justice, I mean.
Well, boys do enjoy fiddling around with machines, don't they?
I'm not sure he could fiddle with cogs that size, and I'm certain you couldn't call him a boy. Still,
He's our boy.
It's amazing though how little noise the cogs make, considering how large they are. There's actually something quite soothing about their precise rhythm. Is that all?
Oh, you can move the camera.
It can, a little bit, but
I
there's
don't think
nothing
there's much.
interesting. This must have been great in 3D. It looks like that's everything. Okay, let's play the game. Move, and
Let's go to the jail.
Gale, yeah. Gale.
L-I-N-K, more like L-I-N, gay. Man, you should
have been aborted. These are the British prison cells.
Oh, they're ghastly. It feels just like a dungeon.
Yes, and having experienced it in Japan myself, I can assure that our wooden cells feel a lot cozier than these cold stone walls.
When were you in jail?
I was arrested in the first case.
Oh, true. Oh, don't, Mr. Naruhodo. You're making it seem worse.
Apparently, our client is in this cell here. It's so dark at the back there, I can't make him out. I wonder what he's like. Inmate 53, your legal representative is here to see you. Stop hiding by in the back of the cell and show your face at once. Am I... my cat as yet with no name? Calling me by a number is utterly, unbelievably, unjustly unreasonable. I refuse to answer. I think that's him, but I'm not sure about the voice yet.
Mr. Naruhodo, what? What do you think is going on here?
I have no idea, but I wasn't just hearing things, was I? A tirade of complaints was in Japanese.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Oh!
His eyes are like buttons.
Oh.
Okay.
He looks like his face was drawn on.
Drawn off, yeah.
Like his eyebrows.
Yeah. Oh. So I was thinking like cause I was thinking of like a Piston Hondo voice, like in Punch Out.
Yeah.
Shh, quiet. When like he's like Susha Hondo Tomos. Like he says like that. They're all around, hiding. I know they are. They're watching, like listening, even now. I can sense it. I guess that's good.
Yeah, that's good.
He's like paranoid. Right, so
Yeah.
could I ask you who exactly— There you are! You've come to curse me, haven't you? Don't try to hide it, you're a ghost! A ghost? God, he's so motion capture.
We made you no harm, prisoner. Are you Japanese by any chance? The eyes.
He went back to normal. This is beyond my wildest dreams! Forgive me for that outburst before. I am so sorry. Oh, it's fine. We were just a little surprised, that's all. Imagine it! I've been 12 long months since I left my hometown, and here I am, in frightful fix in a foreign land. It's gonna— I need to do something else, because this is gonna destroy me.
Unsustainable, yeah.
So hearing the sweet, sentimental tones of a compatriot voice in this damp, dark hellhole was a most monumentally moving moment!
They really put in the motion capture in this game.
Who could have guessed that this new client Lord Vortex assigned to us would turn out to be a fellow Japanese? What compassion my fellow countrymen show to dispatch a first-class lawyer all the way from Japan to defend a mere foreign student. Noble, nurturing, never-failing Nippon!
Is he gonna do this every time?
Oh my god, I'm sweating already. A first-class lawyer? Oh dear, I think there's been something of a misunderstanding here.
I wonder, would you be so kind as to tell us what's happened? Why you've been detained as a suspect, for example?
Yes, I can. I will. Shan't say sullen and silent!
They're making good use of that motion capture. I'm not quite sure I understand what he means, but he seems happy.
Oh my god. I need more water probably for this. Yes, he does. I just hope he actually has a good reason to be. Thank you for your cooperation. I am a lawyer, as you said. My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
And I am Naruhodo's judicial assistant, Suzaru Mikotoba.
I am a visiting student sent here by our government. Notoriously named Natsume! Suseki Natsume. Oh my god.
Goodness.
Suseki Natsume-san, what an unusual name. Call me Suseki, please. I am a poet, you see. A writer of haiku.
Oh, I get it.
A writer of haiku. It's something of a nom de plume. A nom de plume? You mean an alias?
That's right, Naruhodo.
Very good. No! Don't be so prosaic. I am much more refined than that. And haiku? That really reminds me of home.
Did I hear you say that you were a visiting student sent over here by the government?
Yes, that's right. A year ago, I was told to go and study English. First I had to suffer that misery, and now this! It's beyond the pale! Suffer that misery? Did you not want to study here? No! I mean, I've had an interest in Great Britain for some years, of course. Oh. But! Just because the government tells you to do something, doesn't mean you can do it? No!
So true. What do you mean?
If they told me to study English literature, that I could have understood. That's my field. But no, they told me to study the English language. Utterly, unbelievably, unjustly, unreasonable.
Me whenever I'm asked to do anything.
I see. Only the other day, I was told to send a report about my first year here. I tendered a blank piece of paper. Wise words on white washi.
You must be a man of great standing.
I'll try to do a little bit higher for him. Oh yes!
No, I think it's fine.
So I'm often told. And often like to be told, it seems.
So true. Could you perhaps tell us exactly why you've been arrested, Suzeki?
I didn't do it! I didn't commit that atrocious murder!
It wasn't a murder. Murder?
Oh, no, it's alright. That woman didn't actually die, did she? But she was stabbed with a knife! Right before my eyes! Right before your eyes? You mean you saw the attacker? I didn't see anyone. What? I'd seen the person who did it! Do you think I'd be locked up in here?
Yes. Oh dear, it seems this case is becoming rather complicated.
Why me? Why me? Why did a silly woman have to be stabbed in front of me?
Yeah.
It's the curse! The curse of London! It's incredibly, inexcusably, irritatingly inconvenient! So Zeki was here at the scene, but he didn't see the attacker.
It's vital that we find out more about the case.
Guys, let's talk to him some more. Hang on, give me a second to like return to reality. Okay. Okay, lovely. It was an accursed evening, just after the snow had started to clear and heavy with fog. I had been to the bookshop to buy some books. It was on my way back to my accursed lodgings. Or the bookshop wasn't accursed too? As I was walking along that accursed pavement, I could make out the sole silhouette of another ahead of me. A woman, wearing a green overcoat she was, and just as I went to overtake her, she suddenly let out a little scream and collapsed onto the cold hard slabs of stone at my feet. How terrible!
Terrible.
I called out to the woman, but she didn't move. It was like a ghostly, ghoulish, grim graveyard. God.
This is killing you.
Yeah. A slight exaggeration there, perhaps? I was terrified. I had to get away from there. So I ran as fast as my legs would carry me back to my accursed lodgings. That's not good. They'll say it was shameful, I know, to run away like that.
Suzeki, was the victim an acquaintance of yours?
Don't be ridiculous! Do you think I know any of this fair-haired English, and a young woman at that? I'm diffident, shy, timid, unsure. I can't talk to people! I see. A young woman, unknown to Suzeki. And at the time it happened, who else did you see nearby? Did anybody pass you? Oh my god. Regrettably, apart from myself and the woman, I didn't see a soul. No one? Oh great.
So the victim was unknown to you and there was nobody else on the street at the time?
Next time we do a stream, I need to make like honey tea or something.
Yeah. That creates something of a conundrum, doesn't it?
Hmm? What conundrum?
It's everything.
Okay, I think 4 is the maximum. Okay. What do you mean, Susato? What's the conundrum?
If what Suzeki has told us is true, there's something I can't explain. He says that he didn't know the victim and that there was no one else at the scene. Then he apparently fled without having been seen.
Yes, how did he get arrested? I did! But if that's the case, surely this man has to be the culprit. Ah! You! What did you just say? Nothing! I didn't say anything. Oops, perhaps I thought that a little loudly.
Maybe Susato's not psychic and he just says shit out loud and then she, like, talks to him.
He just thinks very loudly.
That's not... Yeah. Actually, that's not what was troubling me. what I was thinking was, how did Suzeki actually come to be arrested?
Okay, yeah. Sorry?
He didn't touch the victim and there was nobody at the scene to see him. So how did the police ever discover that he was there in the first place?
Oh yes, she's right. It was him. A cursed great detective. He led the police to me!
Oh.
All the bad luck! A cursed great detective? Could it be? I shall never forget that man's name as long as I live. With his haughty laugh and self-proclaimed greatness. Brash, big-headed, busybody, big on! Alright. May you be cursed until the end of your days, Sherlock Holmes! I knew it. God, I'm sweating as much as he is right now. It's you.
Oh fuck. Mr. Holmes?
Fuck you. Well, I didn't expect to hear that name from this man's lips, that's for sure. It was the morning after the nightmare had unfolded on the pavement before me. I was gnawing on a sliver of hard cheese when some hard man suddenly burst in through the door. They started shouting at me, "This is the police! Put the weapon down!" Yes, it was a thin sliver, and yes, it was hard, but I wasn't eating a weapon! Fix the bug where sniper is trying to eat his gun. Disgusting! Dietary discrimination! Devils! You clearly had a trying morning yesterday. And there he was, in the middle of all the policemen, grinning like a Cheshire cat. That Sherlock Holmes! It's actually Sherlock Holmes. He's English. I've since found out that he's a famous name in detection here in London.
Yes, the great detective is really very well.
And his overly sharp mind managed to deduce my whereabouts, apparently. He thinks I'm a knife-wielding madman! Me, this weak, stupid kid of a man! Wonder what great deduction process led him to this conclusion this time.
Do you mean to say that Mr. Holmes's deduction was the only reason the police arrested you? I believe it. That would be really most unreasonable. Oh shit.
Well, the thing is, I was thrown into a panic when they barged in their way in.
You were. That's only natural.
I was terrified and trembling, and they kept throwing question after question at me in impossible English. Fiendish, foreign, film, flammery. Flammery, okay. Well, we are in England. You can't really blame them for questioning you in English.
I can.
Good point, but my mind went blank. I knew I had to answer, but I didn't know what to say. So I just kept repeating things like, yes I do, and I'm fine.
Oh.
The next thing I knew, I was in manacles, and before I knew it, I was thrown in here.
Oh dear. I'm afraid that's hardly surprising.
I'm fine? He's not fine now. He's Apollo's ancestor. Hey, it splashed water on me. Mr. Naruhodo Esquire! Oh, you can just call me Naruhodo. And when we're speaking English, a simple Mr. is more than enough. Oh, yes, alright, yes, they've really got to me. This country is poisoning my mind. But please, I beg you to defend me in court tomorrow. You can tell them what really happened. You'll do it, won't you? Well,
I don't know what really happened.
Well, Why? Why? Why is it so hard to say yes to me? Well, the thing is, I'm just a student like yourself on a study tour. A student? I've defended a case in the Old Bailey, only the one though. But at this moment in time, I really don't know what I'm supposed to believe in. I'm confused about what justice in this country even means.
Oh, Naruhodo.
Not even the foreign student was supposed to be here. I'm a sort of locum lawyer, I suppose. But that armband! That's the mark of a defense lawyer from our great empire! It's a keepsake from the man who should have been here. He was my best friend. A keepsake? I know exactly what they're saying about me.
Oh, what do you mean?
The lawyers, all the British defense lawyers, they won't defend me.
Goodness, why do you say that?
For the same reason as you noted before. When it happened, there was only the victim and myself around, so I ran away from the scene of the crime. I'm not a fool. I know it looks as though I must be the culprit. It must be very hard for you, Suzuki. And anyway, I'm a student from overseas. I'm just a foreign nobody to them, someone not to be trusted. I heard them openly laughing about me before, in my earshot, without any compunction at all. Any trial for this man would be a waste of time, they said. And of course the foreigner did it. They even had the gall to say, the man doesn't understand half of what's being said anyway. That's awful.
Why is everyone so racist?
It's so racist, for real. They were wrong! I've studied more English than half of the policemen out there on the streets! I've traveled halfway around the world to learn about these people's countries and its great history. But no one here wants to listen to a man with a strange accent. They all hate me. So,
describing Europe.
At the very least, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who can listen to me in my native tongue. You could do it, couldn't you? When I look into your eyes, I can see it. I can see what you've been through. Suzuki, it's just that... Give me a little time, please. I'll do what I can, for the time being. What do you mean?
We shall investigate the case as thoroughly as possible. If we can't find some clues, it will give us a much better chance, I'm sure.
Oh yes, thank you. I'll be here, all alone, waiting for you. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire.
We should be going then, Mr. Naruhodo. I shouldn't say mister. We have a case to prepare for.
God, his teeth.
Yeah.
Like a Disney villain. Okay, we can move now. Can't examine, interestingly enough.
Let's start to examine.
Bars. That's a pretty scene.
Yeah.
The bike's all busted.
It's like someone like ran
wow,
into
such a large scene. So this is where it happened, Briar Road.
Ah, look, Mr. Naruhodo.
Aren't you cold?
Yeah. Look at that regulation metal helmet. It's unmistakable. The men of Scotland Yard are here. They're investigating as we speak.
That is their job, you know.
But Mr. Naruhodo, to see one with my own eyes. They're often depicted in the adventures of Sherlock Holmes, but I never dreamt I'd come this close. To a real Bobby's helmet. Bobby.
Bobby? What? The helmet?
The helmet, not the people, the helmet. Of course! Have to try one on one day.
She's such a nerd. Well, I hope your Hattie dream comes true.
Hattie?
Yeah. And there he is.
Oh, he's got more fish and chips.
Yeah. What's the Japanese delegation doing here?
Oh, Inspector Gregson.
Is it on the tourist trail, as I'm fairly sure you're well aware? God, I completely forgot his voice.
Fine. Yes, of course. We're here to investigate.
So you've been to the holding cells then? What you make of the criminal?
He's not a criminal, as you put it, Inspector. He's a suspect.
Yeah, it keeps like regenerating every time he does the flip.
Yeah.
Yes.
His magical powers.
We shall see about that. You Japanese like to stick together, I suppose.
really did up.
Well, do what you will. Doesn't bother me. Looks in court tomorrow. Looks in court tomorrow, whatever happens. And the verdict's a foregone conclusion. Ugh, this stone cold air of rejection.
Take heart! London at this time of year is full of stone cold air. That's not reassuring.
That makes it worse somehow. Okay.
Tell me about Scotland Yard, Inspector. Ever since I read about it in The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, I've been fascinated by the place.
The Yard is the most sophisticated policing organization you'll find anywhere in the world, ma'am. That wasn't his voice.
Oh, and you know I've always dreamt of wearing a real Bobby's helmet.
It does make them look the part, seeing that policeman there with his helmet on. You can certainly get the sense that his is a man who will take no nonsense in his duty of protecting the city.
Oh yes! Doesn't he look wonderful?
Being a London Bobby is hard going, I can tell you. I can tell you.
Oh, really?
First thing in the morning, you know what he does? Goes round and ruses to all the laborers on his beat, so they can wake up off to work. What? He wakes people up? Yup, raps on their windows with a long pole. Did it myself, going back a bit.
Oh yeah, I remember this. I had no idea.
Bobby works for the people of town. It's just another one of his duties. After that, he starts tirelessly patrolling the streets all day long. He has to cover 20 miles a day. That's the regulation distance. I can't really imagine how that far that is, but it sounds like a long way.
Let me see. 20 miles. That's approximately the distance from Tokyo to Yokohama.
On foot? That's definitely taking the things a step too far. And when it gets dark, of course, he has the important job of lighting all the gas street lamps.
Oh my!
And I suppose in between all those duties, Bobbies are expected to investigate cases as well.
And chase after criminals trying to evade the law.
I'm not sure you could call it in between exactly. More alongside, but yes. You're expected to handle those jobs as well. We do have men kneeling over from time to time, I admit. Killing over, okay, that's worse.
I've always dreamt of wearing one of those helmets, as I said. But it's with a heavy heart. I shall have to relinquish the dream to you, Mr. Naruhodo.
Your heavy heart.
On the helmet.
Your heavy heart will be my heavy head if you do.
My big head.
It happened at around 5 in the evening 2 days ago. You sat just there on that open bit of pavement. The victim, young woman, was stabbed with a blade from behind. Is it right after the lady was unconscious? Is it right that the lady is still unconscious now? You mentioned that she's being treated at the hospital. Oh, I never said she was a lady. Truth is, unless she comes around pretty smarmish, we won't be able to find out much about her at all. I suppose that means they haven't been able to take a statement from her, of course. Oh.
He's
okay,
still putting it in
image.
his pocket.
Image was loading. Here's a map of the local area I happen to have on me. You can take it if you want. Really? Are you sure? It's your policy to give your lawyers defending suspect the odd bit of information to go on. I haven't actually accepted the job yet, but still.
Thank you, Inspector. We gratefully accept.
Call map has been added into the court record. Anyway, as far as we know, there was no one else on the scene other than the victim and your fellow countryman. So who did it, do you think? Not much of a head scratcher, is it?
It was a spy. He cloaked after stabbing her.
Yeah. Well, I know Mr. Natsume is also claiming to not have seen anyone else around, but...
But just because he didn't see anyone doesn't mean we can be sure that nobody else was present.
I actually don't remember the outcome of this case, so...
This would be a mystery.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry I have to tell you, but we most sadly can be sure.
How?
Because, ma'am, the precise moment of the stabbing didn't go unnoticed. It what? We have two very reliable witnesses, no less. It was a typical foggy London day, and your client obviously didn't see them. We're witnesses now?
Apparently.
Who are these witnesses, Inspector? A fellow and his wife, and a man's one of those reliable and respected citizens in all of London.
Always some shit like this.
He's a copper from Scotland Yard.
Oh, of course he is.
A policeman? I might change things.
And this policeman just happened to be there at the exact moment the woman was attacked?
Nothing peculiar about that, ma'am. Part and parcel of being a bobby. Catching them being in the bang and all that.
Being in the bang.
Catching them banging the act and all that. I'll give him less of a rasp, because now that Suseki exists, I need to, like, reserve myself.
Yeah, don't hurt your voice.
Do you think it might be possible for us to ask that policeman a few questions? Be my guest. You can ask him all you like. In court tomorrow. Oh.
Oh.
I have no doubt he'll be summoned as a witness. So I'll give you something to look forward to. That's that then. He's got no intention of letting us meet the man beforehand, it seems.
The policeman witnessed the incident. As your judicial assistant, I must warn you that this could make our job very difficult indeed.
Thank you. Yes, as a non-judicial assistant, I could have warned me of that too. Oh yes, one more thing, Inspector. What? The person who led you to the suspect. That it was Mr. Sherlock Holmes. What are you bringing him up for? Was it something I said? The color has drained from his cheeks. Christ, okay, we didn't even get to the trial. Okay, let's do this then. Who did you hear that name from? Oh, well, it was Mr. Natsume who mentioned it. He said that Mr. Holmes was with the police when they entered his lodgings.
I'm sure it was the result of one of Mr. Holmes's inspirational great deductions.
Fiddle faddle! That man's an amateur, and I'm getting sick and tired of him showing his mugs everywhere. Showing his mug everywhere. Oh. I don't know where he gets his information from. When he turns up at the scene of the crime, wanders around spouting incomprehensible rubbish, and before you know it, he claims to have solved the case. Yes, he's quite astounding, isn't he?
He is a great help to Scotland Yard, though, isn't he?
Gibble gabble. Have us ever seen this before? Oh yes, that's Rant's magazine.
The wonderful publication in which the adventures of Sherlock Holmes appears.
Yes, well, that wonderful publication, as you put it, sees fit to include several of the Yard's detectives in its stories. And the so-called great detective makes mockery of us all. If you ask anyone at the Yard, it's a misadventure to be included in any of Sherlock Holmes' tale at all. God.
Well, I suppose there is an element of that.
We work our socks off, every one of us, only to be frumped by the public thanks to that obnoxious detective. Man's as dangerous to us at Scotland Yard as he is to all our criminals.
Goodness. That can't really be true, can it, Inspector?
Sherlock Holmes gets cancelled by the Scotland Yard. Clearly the detective and the police have a complex relationship. Okay, the last one.
Good lord.
That twitchy Japanese bloke goes on trial tomorrow. Are you going to defend him or not? Well, Mike's no difference to me, but I'll just say this. No London lawyer worth his salt would touch that case with a barge pole. Because the prosecution's being handled by the Reaper of the Bailey, you mean? There's no way to save the man now. It's a waste of time trying. It's all a bit strange, though. Sorry? The Reaper hasn't appeared in court once for a good few years now.
Yes, we did hear something to that effect.
And the only people he usually bothers with are the real scum, the master criminals, the violent ones. Master criminals?
The violent ones?
That's right. He handpicks his victims. All he does with those guaranteed to go to the gallows for their sins. But Mr. Natsume wouldn't hang for what he's accused of. Surely. That's just my point, sunshine. Yes, the young woman was stabbed, but it didn't kill her. Couldn't even say the intent was there. So this isn't the sort of case I'd be expecting the Reaper to want to sink his teeth into, for want of a better phrase. It's not exactly a minor infraction, is it? No, there's got to be more to it. Some reason he's taken an interest.
Really? What sort of reason, Inspector?
Just wants to see your pretty face again, Naruhodo. You think I can tell what's going on inside the head of that Lord of the Darkness? You'll have to ask him yourself at tomorrow's trial. We're really going to have to face the Reaper again. Lord of Darkness, as he put it. Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Oh, the van left. Well, I don't think we're going to get any more useful information out of the detective.
Mr. Naruhodo, can I make a suggestion? No.
Oh, oh yes, what is it?
Well, it seems to me that we must speak with him about this. Good luck.
By him, do you mean Mr. Holmes?
Yes! Mr. Sherlock Holmes, exactly!
Look at those shining eyes, you can't wait, can you? Well, Mr. Natsume did blame Mr. Holmes for all of this, didn't he?
Yes, he did! He really did!
You really did!
Which makes him an involved party in this case. Are you just going to ignore that? I hope not!
Yes, I will.
I assure you, it's not simply my selfish desire to meet with Mr. Holmes again.
The
It's not
trouble
like I
is...
like him or anything, Baka.
The trouble is... we have no idea of the man's address even, so how... It's
Baker Street!
How do you know that?
It's in the stories, of course. 221B Baker Street, the most famous address in the world.
Oh, I see. Well, there's nothing to stop us from going, I suppose. We'd better try to find our way there before Susato gets any more excited and unpredictable.
Hurrah! I'll summon a carriage.
Wow.
Okay.
We'll have a reunion already. The greatest detective, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. Oh, he's here still, okay. Yeah, we're done with this. Examine first. Oh, they're still here, okay.
Yeah. Oh, you can examine the snowman.
Yeah.
Hehe, what a delightful snowman.
I didn't realize the English had a tradition of making snowmen as well. Looks a little creepy though.
Oh, it has a scarf. Look.
You need one if you were out in this freezing cold all the time. I wish I had one.
You can just buy one. I'm afraid our budget is somewhat frozen at the moment too. You certainly can't afford a scarf.
Okay. Surely the snowman here wouldn't miss his.
But the person who made the snowman certainly would.
Yes, I know, you're right. Anyway, even if I borrowed it, it wouldn't do much to warm my neck, would it? It's covered in snow. So true.
Clean that forehead.
That's one of the officers from Scotland Yard. The police are making sure the crime scene is undisturbed. I have a feeling that if we wander too close, we'll be clapped in irons.
You know how it is. I think perhaps you're being a little overcautious.
We'll be clapped on the cheeks.
We've done nothing wrong, so we have no cause for concern. You say that.
Oh no, I'm not getting caught out again. Twice is enough. Twice I've found myself in handcuffs despite not knowing a thing about what was going on.
Yes, you've had some dreadful experiences.
Wow, you're so sad. Let me just like play a song on the world's smallest violin.
I'm sure it's that wide-eyed look of panic you're so prone to. It does you no favors at all.
Ugh.
Don't remind him.
What's this? Oh, I can investigate the barrier.
Oh, it's a barrier, yeah.
This patch of pavement must be where the incident occurred.
Yes, it's a very wide open space, isn't it?
It's true. I can see anywhere an attacker could have been hiding. Oi! What are you foreigners doing here? Oh, just investigating the scene, officer. Conspiring with the mustache fella from Japan, are you? Conspiring?
Oh.
Come here to destroy the evidence, have you? Get out of here before I give you a hiding. Go on.
Oh god. He shoot us away like rats.
Yes, we should give him a wide berth, I think.
What a disappointing experience.
Okay. The van, okay, yeah.
Oh, that's a Scotland Yard carriage.
Oh yeah, Carriage, I think.
They use vehicles like that to rush crime scenes and cart away criminals.
You're very well informed, aren't you?
It's long been a dream of mine to ride one of those through the streets of London.
Well, just pick up a stone and throw it through one of the windows then.
Good lord. That would mean being arrested in order to ride it. Wouldn't it? Still, if it's the only way, help me find a good stone.
No, I wasn't serious. God. Okay, nothing here. This lamp is very high res for the background. Okay. Oh, there's a whole there's a whole other page. There are piles of snow on the pavement here and there, but the road itself is covered in carriage tracks.
It seems carriages often travel down Briar Road. It soon disperses all the snow.
What is like this fucking half-destroyed building in the background though?
Yeah.
I slipped over when I was walking down the pavement earlier. It seems like it would be far safer to walk on the road instead.
Oh, but you're rather small, Mr. Naruhodo, and dressed in all black. I worry coachmen might not see you, and you could be flattened by a horse.
Well, thank you for the rather small concern. Alright. The buildings. These two different, let's see.
Cringe, Mr. Naruhodo.
Clouds look so big and heavy in the sky, don't they? And with this dense fog as well, everything looks hazy.
Well, it is known as Foggy London Town.
You just make out some sort of spiral through the fog. Looks like it's still being built though, okay. What was that?
Aha! Yes! That must be the Crystal Tower, being built for the great exhibition that's to open in 6 months' time.
I don't think she ever did that before.
No. Apparently, it's going to be very striking, blazed on all sides, and the symbolic centerpiece of the exhibition.
It's to be the largest exposition in history, is it? I can't even begin to imagine it. Okay. Oh, this is
The course hasn't even started yet, and we're already like an hour and a bit in.
Yeah. You saw the black smoke rising from the chimneys over there.
It says here that in Great Britain, many people heat their homes in winter using coal.
The only chimneys I really remember seeing in Japan were on top of the bathhouse. Do you think some of those houses could be on fire?
Not at all.
Well, even so, that much thick smoke billowing from the to the heavens is surely going to turn the whole sky black sooner or later.
Gosh, you may be right about that.
Okay. I'll just investigate this wall here, I guess.
That's a rather typical old brick building, isn't it? I'm sure it has a long and interesting history.
Well, time certainly seems to have taken its toll on the place. It's crooked and sagging all over. In fact, it looks in decidedly worse shape than the other houses around here.
You must find some cheap lodgings ourselves as soon as possible.
Yes, you're right. Cheap, but ideally with reasonably level floors. Okay, and the final thing is, I think this bike? Wait, no. What about this? Oh, look at the windows of that building there.
Are you sure they're windows?
Yes, but they're all filled in with bricks.
Oh, you're right. I wonder why. Perhaps it's an empty property where nobody lives at the moment.
Didn't they have like a window tax? Like, if you have windows, you had to pay taxes for them.
Maybe?
There's smoke coming from the chimney, though.
Oh dear. Everything still feels very foreign. So much we have to learn about this place.
I have a vague, like, memory of something like that being said, but I'm not sure.
Sounds about right, yeah. Oh, a British bicycle! Look! It looks like shit! Although, the wheel is so misshapen, I'm sure it couldn't possibly be ridden anymore.
So I must have been doing some breakneck cycling.
It seems bicycles have become extremely popular in London recently. There's even a movement to change women's dress to allow them to ride as well. Good lord.
The bicycle fad won't last. I don't see why anyone would want to ride something like that.
Goodness, do you dislike bicycles?
No, not at all. I mean, it's not that I dislike them exactly. It's just any occupation that involves taking both of your feet at firm ground seems reckless. You ever tried walking on stilts or fallen into a river? I know you'd agree with me.
I don't think that... We'll have to hire a bicycle sometime. You can sit behind me while I ride you around.
Hire a bicycle? Okay.
Good lord.
You could just replace the front wheel, it would be fine. But yeah. I think we're finally done with this. Let's go to another place.
Yeah.
Oh boy, Holmes is... Whoa, what the hell was that? Okay. Oh, it's just like makes comments on everything you select.
That's been a thing for a while.
I didn't notice that at all.
A little silly.
Oh, pinch me! I must be dreaming. Okay. Oh, a cutscene for this. Wow.
Woohoo!
They're so small.
Thank you very much. It's just up there overlooking the street. Good day.
Goodbye.
Thanks again. This is it. The residence of Mr. Herlock Sholmes.
Sherlock Sholmes.
So silly.
Lots of plants and shit.
Yep.
2 birdhouses. Just gonna barge into this guy's house.
Wow. Okay.
Ooh, okay.
Holmes is
Why
sweet.
is there... Wow. There's like a knife.
Looks
in
like
that
yeah,
postcard.
like a mess. This is where the
Just
great
went
detective
in.
makes his living. You're surreal to be here somehow.
Goodness me.
Me Angie. Is it as described in the stories, Miss Susato? Susato?
Many famous cases have been solved here in this very room.
Oh, I suppose they must have been, yes. I've never read the story, so it's hard to get quite as excited about it as she seems to be.
The detective chases the villain relentlessly as he disappears into the fog down an unlit London street. Oh, the thrill of it, the romanticism! Oh, you skipped it.
Oh, sorry.
What I should say before that? Oh. Oh, the thrill of it, the romanticism! Can't you feel your heart thumping in your chest?
Okay.
Can't you, Mr. Naruhodo?
Oh, I suppose I can, yes.
So, if you don't mind... I'll just stand here and soak up the atmosphere for a while longer. Please, don't mind me.
Hang on, I'm looking for something. Okay. She's obsessed.
When is he gonna notice that we're in his house?
Well, looks like our detective friend isn't home at present. Excuse me, is anybody home?
Oh, do we have a visitor?
Nice.
Hello? Is it a big new case for Mr. Holmes?
Hello. Wait, aren't you?
Oh, how rude of me! I'll go and make some tea at once.
I'm sure it's the same girl. Mr. Sato, did you see the girl who was just here?
Oh, yes. Isn't it truly extraordinary? To think that the King of Bohemia came to this very room to ask Mr. Holmes to take on his case.
The King of Bowaria?
King Wilhelm Guthrie. I can't pronounce that. Of course.
Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Forget the adventures of Sherlock Holmes for a moment and look over there.
Today's brewed, and I have a freshly baked cake as well.
What?
Ah, it's you.
This music sounds like a bubble bath. I knew it. Susato recognizes her too.
Ah, there you are.
Iko's favorite character, apparently.
And taking that with you as well. I was looking forward to the trial run of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Oh, good day to you. I'm, well, the inventor, I suppose, of that machine.
It's the girl who turned up at the end of Mr. McGonagall's trial in the defendant's antechamber.
I've never met a lawyer from the Far East before. Or you, having to get straight to work when you've only just arrived in London.
Oh yes, it was challenging.
Well, try this tea. It's my special blend, you know.
Oh, thank you. Is this supposed to look that color?
Oh my, what a fragrant yet mellow flavor. Hooray, it's a winner! I tried blending different leaves designed to alleviate fatigue, you see. You must be exhausted after your long voyage here, and you have another ticklish trial tomorrow. Oh, and you're to defend a Japanese man. I do wish you lots and lots of luck.
She's so surprised.
Yeah. Did Mr. Holmes tell you about us by any chance? Oh, you know Holmesy, do you?
Holmesy? Mr. Holmes to you, surely.
Mr. Holmes was a fellow passenger on the boat that brought us to Great Britain, you see. Was he really? Well, I had no idea. I'm afraid Holmesy's out on an errand again today, even though he's just returned from overseas.
Wait a minute. We met this girl for the first time ever yesterday after the trial, and only briefly at that. How on earth does she know so much about us? Did she deduce all those things, do you think?
And perhaps more to the point, why is she here in Mr. Holmes's suite? Oh, silly me! I haven't introduced myself, have I? It's a great pleasure to meet you both. My name is Iris Watson. I live here together with Holmesy.
Ah, Iris, is it? What a lovely name.
What?
What's the matter?
No, wait, this can't be. Did you say that your name is Watson?
What's the matter with Susato? Why is she so flustered all of a sudden?
Yes, that's right. And what are your names?
Oh, I'm Rinosuke Naruhodo, a lawyer from Japan.
Oh, sorry. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant, Susato Mikotoba. It's wonderful to meet you.
Lovely. Susie and Royu. Got it.
Susie. Susie?
And Ryu. There's more.
Ryu from Street.
There's more to this girl than meets the eye. I have so many questions for her. I don't know where to start.
Yes, and so do I.
Okay, before we do that, there's something for doing this. Hang on. Apparently. I've seen pictures of Western musical instruments like this. It's called a violin, isn't it?
Of course it is. Mr. Holmes is renowned for his violin playing.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. Often explained in the stories. It's inspirational, Mr. Naruhodo. Inspirational. I immediately started playing the koto, which was the closest Japanese string instrument I could find.
What a shame you couldn't bring it with you to London.
Oh, yes. Well, Papa was beaming when I asked him if he would buy me one. But after a while, he asked if I would only practice when he was out of the house. So now it's merely an ornament in my room.
That must have been an awkward conversation. There we go. The achievement for this. Alright.
What was the achievement? I didn't see it.
Second-rate strings.
Oh.
Alright. Was you that we ran into yesterday, wasn't it? At the Old Bailey?
Yes, that's right. You were ever so helpful. Thank you so much.
Oh no, not at all. I'm so sorry we couldn't have been more welcoming.
Though at the time we did have a rather large gun pointed at us.
Oh, don't pull it out.
Like this.
Thinking back now. You left with Miss Lestrade in tow, didn't you?
Oh yes, that awkward witness, Gina Lestrade.
Oh, Join Bean. Yes, she's a professional pickpocket.
I think it's like a Ginny Bean.
Ginny Bean, yeah. That probably sounds better.
That's how we found out.
It was very naughty of her to pinch my invention like that.
Are you referring to that trial-disrupting gun-like contraption?
Exactly. So I followed her, you see, to get it back. Perhaps I should think about fitting a self-destruct mechanism in my inventions.
Just make it explode, sure.
Oh.
This girl is dangerous.
Anyway, I brought Ginny Bean back here after that. So she could apologize to my trusted technician.
Sorry, your technician?
Holmesy, of course, silly.
Holmesy?
Yes, Sherlock Holmes. We live here together.
I had no idea that the great detective had such an interesting young daughter.
Daughter? Not likely.
What?
I wouldn't call him Holmesy if he was my father, would I?
Well then, what is your relationship with Mr. Holmes?
Well, I expect you found out that lodgings of any kind in London are very expensive.
So true.
So, the solution is to share the cost with a partner, a roommate.
Your roommates?
And they were roommates. I hope you don't mind me asking, Iris, but how old are you?
10 at last this year.
Well,
10.
what of your mother and father?
Dead. Oh no, they're not around.
Oh, I see. I wonder what that story is. What the story is there.
I shot them.
Oh, yes! There's something I must ask you.
Of course. Go ahead, Susie.
It's you.
I am a very great fan of The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, and
Oh, you have a copy of Rance magazine.
yes, I read every issue. It's delivered all the way to Japan on a ship.
Oh, this is so exciting. My stories are being read on the other side of the world.
My stories?
That's right. Ramsey is always solving such amazing cases, you see. He tells me all about them. They really are quite fascinating. It would be such a shame if I was the only one who ever heard them, don't you think?
Goodness.
Sorry you have to talk to yourself so much in this part.
It's fine.
Like I'm doing nothing
Last
right now.
night, he was telling me all about a new case he just solved on a steamship travelling from a faraway land. So, I was just in the middle of typing up the manuscript for the next issue before you came.
So you are the author.
Yes, I'll let you in on a secret if you like. I'm gonna call this latest adventure the Speckled Band.
The Speckled Band, that's certainly very familiar.
Of course, I always change one or two details in the stories, here and there. This time, I had the idea of making a venomous snake be the cause of all the trouble.
Oh, that was Mr. Holmes' first thought as well, actually.
Yes, and of course, I know that a snake might not be a credible fit for the facts of the case exactly, but it's a story. Some poetic license is justified to make it worth reading, I think, don't you?
So, do you mean to say... Are the stories about Mr. Holmes that are published in Rance magazine...
They're all lies.
All written by me, yes, on my wonderful and very modern typewriter.
But all the stories I've ever read are written by a doctor of medicine, Dr. John H. Watson.
Zoro's getting more and more worked up. Everything she believes is a lie.
Ah, yes, that's me.
What?
I mean, my name really is Watson.
But what about the doctor of medicine part?
I have a doctorate.
That's all true too. I'm a doctor of medicine.
Okay. No, at 10 years old?
This is Ace Attorney, come on, get with the program.
At 10 years old.
Athena, I'm trying to hear the new prosecutor, be quiet.
Literally.
Well, that's quite incredible.
But
She's crying.
Dr. Watson is an English gentleman.
God.
Ah, yes. I did alter the setting slightly for the stories to be more compelling.
Oh,
Well, sounds a little strange, doesn't it? A great detective with a 10-year-old girl in tow.
That sounds in line for Ace Attorney. Got it, okay.
I suppose it does, yes.
Poor Susato, she looks like her whole world just has been falling apart. Alright. About before.
Yes. What's on your mind, Royu? Do tell me.
How did you know that I was a lawyer and we just arrived in London, I mean?
Yes. Oh, and that we have a difficult trial tomorrow. How did you know all of that? She's omnipresent. Omniscient, rather.
Oh, that's what you mean.
Please, tell us how you did it. Explain every detail.
Of course, I'd be delighted. Although there's really no mystery. Now, let's begin. Iris Watson is proud to present her logic and reasoning spectacular.
Oh great,
No.
you're gonna have to fucking read all of that in in sync.
Oh.
What the fuck?
Hey, well, I knew already that you were a lawyer, were you? After all, I met you yesterday at the Old Bailey in the defendant's antechamber.
But you also said that we'd only just arrived in London. How did you know that?
I observed a passport and travel ticket protruding from your breast pocket,
Oh,
so I was reasonably confident that you must have only just arrived in the country. And on top of that,
scary.
you accepted a case against that particular prosecutor, telling me you were unaware of London's court affairs.
The Reaper of the Bailey? I walked right into that one, didn't I?
And I noticed a red ink stamp on the back of Susie's hand. You were given that when you visited the local prison to meet with a suspect, weren't you? Earlier today. Ah! They used those stamps.
Oh wait, no.
They used those stamps to keep close eye on comings and goings, you see.
I didn't realize.
And a red stamp is only used for people visiting foreign inmates. So, that told me that even though you had only yesterday concluded the case of the trial of Cosney McGundle, the two of you had already had cause to visit a foreign inmate at a local prison. However, neither of you was wearing a particularly sad expression on your face. So, I concluded that the prisoner was unlikely to be a friend or a relative. That led me to believe that you must have accepted a new case.
I see.
No, hold on. But how could you have known that the trial is tomorrow?
Well, having barely been home a few hours yesterday, Holmesy solved yet another case. It obviously abused him. He told me that he'd caught a Japanese man who was bowling and trembling.
Oh my god.
A Japanese man? Well, clearly that must have been... Mr. Not... Oh yeah, it's you.
Mr. Natsume!
Now, Ryu has that fancy Japanese sword. And I think your outfit is called a kimono, isn't it, Susie? Well, anyway, it was clear to me that you both come from Japan yourselves. So, I put two and two together and decided you must be defending the Japanese man Holmesy caught. And there was only one conclusion those facts could lead me to. You both came here to ask Holmesy about the case.
Okay.
There's a note on the mantelpiece that says the man's trial will be tomorrow.
Is it the one stabbed with a knife? Oh my god, it is.
Holmesy is always stabbing his notes with a knife, you know. He is silly.
He's so silly.
And that's all there was to it, really. Thank you for listening. I'm Iris Watson, and that was one of my great deductions. Well, was it a winner? Were my deductions correct?
They were spot on.
That was amazing, Iris. Truly a great deduction.
You don't manage to discern something of Mr. Holmes's delivery.
Oh, well, I was just copying Holmesy's style for that.
This is really very good news. You could tell us all about the case involving the Japanese man. You will, won't you, Iris? Please.
The case of the Japanese man. So yesterday, Mr. Holmes apprehended a Japanese man, you were saying?
Yes? Holmesy had just arrived back in London after his sea voyage. But the police were waiting for him at the railway station to take him directly to the crime scene.
Ah, the great detective is a popular man, it seems.
Apparently a woman was stabbed on a quiet street somewhere in town. There were witnesses who had seen a short, shifty-looking, stooped man running away from the scene.
A short, shifty-looking, stooped man.
Mr. Natsume, beyond any doubt. Kiseki said that he didn't see anybody else on the street at all. But it seems there were witnesses after all.
Holmesy used his great deductive powers to determine the man's address. It was a lodging room very nearby. He went directly there with the police, and what did they find? A short, shifty-looking, stooped man shivering in fear.
Ugh, Mr. Holmes' great deduction certainly hit the mark this time.
Of course it did. He's a great detective.
Still, that means the incident occurred only 2 days ago. Surely tomorrow is too soon for the trial, isn't it?
Definitely. We have no time to investigate properly.
We only have an hour left.
Holmesy says that London is rife with crime.
Oh,
Scotland Yard is doing its best, but they can't stay on top of it, apparently.
Oh dear, I hadn't realized the situation was so dire.
That's why they can't afford to spend too much time investigating cases and trying the criminals in court. Staff and money are both short. Crimes are usually pinned on the first suspicious person.
seems alright.
That's terrible. I suppose it's the harsh reality of the workings of the world's greatest justice system.
I suppose it is, but in that case, I don't hold out much hope for Soseki. Thank you for answering so many of our questions, Iris. This has been very informative.
Oh, you're most welcome. I've had so much fun.
Do you happen to know where Mr. Holmes is at the moment? As you guessed, we'd like to ask him some questions about this case as well.
Well... I expect Holmesy is still investigating the scene.
Of the case involving Mr. Natsume, you mean?
Yes, Mr. Natsume. Holmesy said he was going to the man's lodgings.
Mr. Natsume.
If you leave now, you'll probably catch him there.
Iris, do you know where those lodgings are?
Well, I imagine the police are still investigating the scene of the crime themselves, aren't they? Did you happen to come across a detective by the name of Gregson when you were there?
Yes, we know Inspector Gregson.
Ah, goody. In that case...
Let me load an image for you.
Give Toby this from me, would you? If you do that, I'm sure he'll tell you what you want to know.
It's a bribe. What is this?
5-shilling piece in a postcard, it seems.
Okay.
It reads, "Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem." Gosh, this will make the inspector help us, will it?
Well, thank you, Iris. We'll give it a try. Okay.
Good luck then. I'm going to return to writing my manuscript, The Speckled Band. And note, I'll be making more special blends of tea, so come back again soon.
We'd be delighted. Thank you so much, Iris. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, let's back to the scene of the crime.
Oh, okay. So, somewhat dubious that they would exert any influence over the men at Scotland Yard at all. We headed back to the scene with Iris's curious note and, whoa, and one of the world's heaviest silver coins in hand.
It does look pretty heavy.
He continued.
We
We can
Oh, Jesus,
continue though, right?
As that happened, there's a bug that spawned in my room and now it's flying around the lights.
So let's get on to part 2, I guess. We'll just go as long as we can.
I need to take a break for a couple minutes.
Okay.
I'll be back.
Okay. We're gonna be right back then.
Nice timestamp.
Yeah, Briar Road. Looks as though the police are still here, carrying on with their investigation.
Perfect. So let's find Inspector Gregson as quickly as possible.
Yes, and let's see if he'll take a break from his chips to look at that silver tip that Iris gave us for him. Oh. Okay, I guess we can just present it. Inspector Gregson, do you have a moment? I'm sorry to say that I don't. I'm a very busy man. Much too busy to talk to a pair of foreign gadabouts, that's for sure.
So mean. We have these for you. A present from Miss Iris Watson.
What? For me? From her ladyship?
Oh,
Her
God.
ladyship? Give it out here, at once. Come on, hand it over. That's for me. Ugh, don't wait for me. Don't wait for me to give it to you, will you? What was that coin exactly? The silver crown, obviously, but it's a lot more than that. It's, well, it's an apprentice fee, that's what it is.
Appearance fee.
Appearance fee, okay.
An appearance fee? Oh, I see. You mean...
That's right, for the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Her ladyship always offers me a financial reward for featuring me, every time.
Yes, yes, of course. I know all about your exploits, Inspector. I read them avidly.
Of course, her using my name, if I might say so, does make me the butt of a lot of unpleasant jokes, but still. I'm sorry, Inspector, that must be difficult for you. Never you mind that. So, what you want me to do? What you want to know then, eh? Sorry? Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. Oh, I trust that won't be a problem, it says. Well, obviously it's not a problem. Go on, fire away. What you want to know?
Well, if you wouldn't mind, Inspector, we'd very much like to know the address of Mr. Natsume's lodgings.
Oh, the little knife-wielding, mustached Japanese fellow. He lives in the right old hovel. It's just over there, look. Oh, yeah, could have figured, probably.
Oh, it's his bicycle.
On the first floor of that house on the corner where that wreck of a bicycle is propped up.
That is nearby indeed.
If I remember rightly, the landlord is Mr. John Garideb. Right, well, good to see her again. You make sure to give her ladyship my regards, you hear? I mean it, you tell her that Gregson sends his very best wishes. Don't worry, Inspector, we will. Goodbye for now, then. And long live her ladyship. Okay.
Alright.
Okay, bro.
Well, at least he told us what we wanted to know before he left.
I think the thing is with that is like, seems weird, but like the reason they're all like that is because they're scared of what she will write about them, I think.
Oh, true.
Yes, so then
She could slander them and everyone would read it.
Yeah. Let's go and see what we can find in Mr. Natsume's lodgings.
Definitely.
Thankfully, we've examined everything here already. Okay.
Why does he have like giant, comically large warheads?
Okay.
Oh!
Can you try to like, may I help you? Like puff up your cheeks? Or I can voice her if you
Hell, alright.
want.
No, hang on 1 sec. I'll do it. May I help you?
Mm-hmm. Ah yes, would this be the residence of Mr. John Gary Depp?
Indeed it would, sir. And who may I say is calling?
My name is Rinosuke Naruhodo. I am...
Mr. Naruhodo is representing Mr. Suzeki Natsume. I believe he takes lodging here? We would very much like to ask him some questions about our client.
What?
One moment, please. I shall convey the message to Mr. Garideb.
Did you see that, Mr. Sato? That was a real-life English maid.
I know! As I understand it, anyone of standing in English society and employs a number of household staff. But that was the first time I've ever seen one in the flesh! Oh, this day keeps getting better!
It certainly feels like we've really arrived now, doesn't it?
We need only to meet a butler and the experience will be complete.
Well, I'm not sure if I'd go that far, but I understand the sentiment.
Thank you for waiting. Mr. Garideb will see you now. This way. Oh.
Moon man.
He's got a moon head. Yeah. Let's examine the pipe.
What's going on
Actually, no,
here
we can't.
under this carpet?
What the fuck? Look at that enormous screen. It must have been put there deliberately, surely.
Yes, it certainly seems like someone's trying to hide something from view. What could be behind it, I wonder?
I'm going to have a very quick look. Just a little peek.
Maybe let's not, Mr. Sato. I think the maid is going to head us off with a cup of tea. Okay.
I guess we have to talk to them. Oh, nice pastries.
What the fuck? Okay, wait.
Oh.
Look at this crockery on display here. It's rather unusual, isn't it?
Oh my! A genuine London dresser. Isn't it delightful? Although the shelves seem to be broken and the crockery is... dear, it's in pieces.
Really is. The word crack wouldn't do that chinaware justice. Oh,
I wonder.
there's a surprising, like, switch in animation.
Yeah. Perhaps the cannon was fired at. I think if the cannon was fired, there'd be a hole in the wall.
Yeah, probably something like that. Let's not delve too deeply in here. Okay. This looks suspicious too.
This old candle holder looks a little out of place here, wouldn't you say?
Yes, you're right. It's clearly supposed to be gold, but it's almost completely black for some reason. That whole thing, yes, it's just a chip of ironmongery gimcrack, really. Oh. Usually when I was studying, you know, for my commission. That's not really right. I know it's old, hardly worth hanging on to, really. Well, still has its uses sometimes.
I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Of course.
Does everything in this room have to have some elaborate story behind it?
They're memories, Mr. Naruhodo. Memories.
Okay, let's talk to them then.
Yeah.
I don't really think there's anything else. Good day to you. John Garadep at your service.
Pleased to meet you, sir. This is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. He's a defense lawyer.
Do excuse me not getting up. Took a shot to the knee a few years back in the Battle of Maiwan, don't you know? I should give him like a narrator voice, maybe.
Yeah.
Like a... Earned the medal... Earned a medal for my pains, but had to withdraw from service, handing over the reins to the up-and-comings. That's not really...
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Yeah, I should try doing that. It's a hell of a job getting up and down the stairs now. Dude, I can tell you. Don't get out much, as you can imagine. Okay, that's fine. That's unique enough.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes, it's quite a climb up here to the second floor, isn't it? I was standing at the top of the stairs. But my posters slid down.
You really must take more exercise, Mr. Naruhodo.
Ugh, do you think so?
Well, Mr. Gardeb, no doubt you were very courageous to earn yourself a medal.
Oh, it was nothing. The medal's just a folderol, really. Wouldn't like to offend the general, though, so I grudgingly displayed it on the wall.
Everything is all crooked in here.
Why don't you fetch it down, Joan? Let these good people see it properly. John, fetch the...
Oh my goodness.
Dash it on, woman! Be careful!
Oh, dearie me. I do beg your pardon, sir.
You jolly nearly took the skin off my hands.
I shall be more careful, sir.
So anyway, there you have it. Living the quiet life now. Yes, I see. Now then, I hear you want to know about the chap lodging downstairs. Is that right?
Yes, we would be very grateful if you could answer some questions for us.
Only too pleased, naturally, especially if it helps to keep the peace here in Blighty. We've forged an alliance with the Empire of Japan recently, as I'm sure you're aware. So this case is very much in the public eye, as it were. Oh, is it? Even had some famous detective poking around, you know, in this old house, would you believe?
Yes, Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
Could have been. Didn't catch the chap's name. Not really my cup of tea, all that detective business.
Oh, but you have a copy of Ranced magazine here, so...
Hey, well, no,
Anyway, the chap's investigating the foreigner's room as we speak.
he's in Saseki's room. It's a bally nuisance is what it is. The whole neighborhood's twitching its curtains now. Oh, I don't like all this fuss. It's jolly unsettling. Okay. Yeah.
About Mr. Natsume, Mr. Gardeb, please do tell us.
Oh yes, the Japanese chap. Only been lodging here for a week. Oh, just 1 week? They moved here in very recently then. I have 2 lodgers most of the time, one on the ground floor and one just below us. First floor must became my way a week ago, so there's been... Dash it all, John, do be careful! And now let's see what he said.
Oh my goodness, I'm terribly sorry, sir.
It became available a week ago. There'd been... oh.
If you want to know my opinion, I thought he was a shady sort from the moment I set eyes on him. Oh, why? He seemed to have a most nervous disposition, always shaking and looking over his shoulder. The man had shading written across his sweatshirt brow, if you ask me. I said to myself, Joan, that man is trouble. Sooner or later, he's gonna do something odd.
That's good.
And I'm rarely wrong about anything.
Won't be calling this maid as a witness, that's for sure.
Was there anything else that struck you as suspicious about the man at all? Oh, yes, indeed, there was.
She's dying to tell us. Had you noticed anything else at all about your lodger, Mr. Natsume?
Oh my word, yes. The man was shadier than an orchid.
Could you elaborate?
Well, take the man's room, absolutely stuffed full of books it is, more than anyone could ever read, and he never so much as passes the time of day with another living soul. I haven't seen a single visitor call. He just trots off to that old bookshop every single day and comes back at 5 to light the gas fire. And the funny little man is up long past the time everyone else in the house has gone to bed too.
It sounds like me. Oh, I see.
Gentleman on the ground floor goes to bed at around 9 each night. But I've never known that Japanese fella to retire any earlier than 2 in the morning.
Ah.
Could you clarify something, I wonder?
What way?
How do you know so much about Mr. Natsume's routine?
Oh!
I'd understood that neither of the lodgers live on this floor of the house. Is that correct?
That's right, yes. They're both below us, on the first floor and street level.
Then, how is it that you know so much about the lives of your lodgers? The precise times that they come back in the evening, for example, even the times they go to bed.
Oh, not again.
Gah! Good grief, Dwan! Be more careful, woman!
Oh my goodness, sir. I'm terribly sorry, sir.
Something doesn't add up here. It seems that the incident took place at around 5 in the evening. Did you happen to look out the window at around that time? The window?
Yes, you notice that the window over there looks out over Briar Road. The incident took place on the pavement, just on the far side of the street. Was there anyone suspicious loitering nearby?
5 o'clock is dinner time in the Garrett household. I'm afraid I don't remember seeing anything. How about you, Dwan?
No, sir. It would have been dusk outside already at that hour.
I don't know if it's Joan or Juan. Or Juan.
Joan.
Juan. Joan, okay.
It's Joan. I have an aunt named Joan. That's
Okay,
Joan.
Joan.
And with the fog as well, I should think it would have been quite impossible to see the other side of the road.
Oh, I see.
Did you notice anything else out of the ordinary then?
Such as?
Anything at all, even if it seems unrelated.
Well... Yes? What, is there something then? Well, it's not particularly significant, but around that sort of time and here, there... Ah! For the love of God, John, watch what you're doing!
Oh dearie me, what have I done? I'm awfully sorry, sir.
How does this keep happening?
Do me more careful, woman!
Of course, sir. If I may, Mr. Narrow Hollow.
Oh, yes?
I have an exceedingly good memory, and as far as I remember, nothing of any significance took place here at this hour. Nothing at all.
Oh, really? Mr. Garrideb? The way we were talking before, it sounded rather like there might have been. Oh, well, you see, as I was saying, it was a trifling matter, really. Nothing of... Ah!
Fucking hell.
Joan, dash it all! What's the matter with you, woman?
Begging your pardon, sir. Nothing happened.
Yes, quite. Nothing happened. We sat down to a quiet, uneventful meal. One, Joan? Fucking... okay.
It's fine. That's right, Mr. Garvadeb.
What is the matter with these two?
That's so true. It sounds like something happened here in this room on the evening of the incident, but what?
I wish I knew. Okay, I guess we're talking about this. Could you tell us which floor Mr. Natsume's room is on? Why, certainly, just below us on the first floor.
Mr. Holmes is investigating there even as we speak?
Yes, told me Natsu's name had asked him to look into the matter, so I gave him the key.
Uh-huh. Mr. Natsume has engaged Mr. Holmes's services?
That's a blatant lie. Would it be alright if you also had a look around? In Mr. Natsume's room, I mean. Don't see why not. It's just down one flight of stairs. Who knows, we'll find anything that could help us with the case, but we have to try. We need all the clues we can lay our hands on, shall we?
Yes, and while we're there, we can speak with Mr. Holmes again. Perhaps he'll be able to tell us more.
Let's do that then.
Yeah, let's investigate.
What, the cannon or... Okay, whatever, let's just do everything. That's a full-size cannon, what's it doing there?
Oh my, it's real! I thought it might be a replica.
That whole thing? Bah. That's a little more than a toy. Sorry? The owner was selling it off when I retired. I decided to give it a new home. Never know when it might attack next. Jolly useful to have a cannon about the house.
So true.
Really, it isn't overkill? Be prepared, I always say. You never know what this twisted world is going to throw at you next, boy. But Stanley just couldn't resist posting cringe. Okay, that's the voice.
Oh wait, you skipped her dialogue.
Oh, yeah. T.
Do you think there may be trouble brewing, Mr. Garrideb?
Always is. Take Joan here. Neville faced to have a clean apron in reserve. Drives them over the barrel, you see. They dry very well on the cannon there, Joan tells me, which rather proves my point, I feel. Been reduced to a drying rack. No wonder the huge cannon looks like it's hanging its head in shame.
Jesus.
Okay. These books. I notice you have a pile of books here, Mr. Garrideb. Do you enjoy reading? Ever experienced a London winter, boy? The nights are long. No better way to pass the time than in front of the fire with a jolly good book.
Oh, there's a copy of Rant's magazine here, I see. No doubt Mr. Garrideb enjoys the adventures of Sherlock Holmes, too.
The great detective has a great many followers, it would seem.
Oh, the uniform.
Oh yeah.
That looks like a Medal of Honor, and it's showcased on a very grand banner.
Yes, it's displayed with some pride, I would say, although it bothers me that it's not straight. What? That old thing? That old thing? Sorry? I should be glad to see the back of it, but the General would turn it in his grave if I disposed of it. Wall's best place for it, keeps the bally thing out of my way. It has just been polished to shine by accident, I suppose.
Yeah, there's something he's not letting on. There appears to be an inscription on the medal itself. Look! Let me see. It says, for distinguished participation.
Sounds like the kind of honors even I could be in line for. Well, one doesn't like to blow on one's own trumpet, but I was given that for my time in the army. Can't measure an officer by the number of medals to his name, of course. Common knowledge in military circles. Okay.
Alien uniform. No, the... Oh,
Alex the Lion, that portrait of Mr. Garrideb is glaring at me, I swear. Oh, that's that's a portrait, okay.
Have you noticed that all the little frames contain photographic prints of Mr. Garrideb as well?
It's like a really realistic depiction of him, it's weird.
Yeah.
Yes, and there seems to be a statue of a lion on the mantelpiece as well. Ah, yes. Seemed to have come back from the local pawnbroker with that little trinket. Seemed to come back? What do you mean? The chap who runs the place is a belly wizard. Went in to sell him something and came up with that thing. In point of fact, now that I think about it, I'd rather often find myself leaving the place with something I don't need.
You know how it is.
The lion ornament certainly does seem surplus to requirements.
So Sada doesn't pull her punches, or her throws for that matter. Okay, and these shells, I guess. Oh yeah, the jacket too. The uniform looks fairly ancient, doesn't it?
It's clearly been well looked after, though.
That old thing, pah, not much better than rags, really. Oh? We're at ceremonial grump at my retirement bash, you know? But I'm not one for drawing on the past. Me would have gladly thrown out, but you know how it is.
I don't know how it is.
Anyway, it doesn't hurt to have the odd piece of memorabilia lying around, does it?
Feels like a little more than just the odd piece of memorabilia.
Oh, I see.
Or did you leave the past in the past? Yeah, and the shells, I guess.
Shit, too.
Are those mortar shells? They're enormous!
Ah, I hadn't noticed. What are they doing here?
Over the fire. God, those old things. Couple of the rounds I accidentally fired in the barracks during training, you know.
I don't
What?
trust like that.
Became a bit colorful regiment folklore, that incident. You mean you deliberately hunted out the spent shells? Well, I wouldn't say deliberately, exactly. I keep, like, drifting off of his voice and it's, like, gradually evolves into something else. I have to keep coming back to this one. You're only scrap iron after all, usually just thrown away, I believe. But you never know when things might come in useful, do you? Useful for what, exactly? Yes. Well... Joan here did manage to knock one of the ballot things on my foot the other day while she was dusting.
Oh no!
Hadn't shed a tear since 1869 before then, you know. Maybe reconsider throwing them away. Okay, I think that's everything.
Normal behavior.
Oh wait, is this marked?
Yeah, but we didn't examine the table with the pastries on it.
Yeah,
The
okay.
pastries.
Oh look! What a wonderful collection of cakes lined up on that gleaming silver cake stand.
Lined up, it looks more like someone would have demolished them to me. And it's all crooked.
Afternoon tea is a time of indulgence, you know. It is quite the English way. It is Mr. Garrideb's custom to take 2 cakes with his tea. That sounds delightful.
Oh, wait a minute though. There are at least 10 cakes on this cake stand.
Oh, naturally, and it would never do to waste the leftovers. So, whatever Mr. Garrideb doesn't eat, I say to myself, Joan, you shall have to tidy up.
How magnanimous of you. Oh, the window, okay.
Oh, the window.
This window looks out over Briar Road, where the young woman was attacked.
Oh yes, I can make out the policeman on the far side of the road investigating the crime scene.
Glass is rather murky, isn't it? You can't see very clearly.
Is this thing open at all, I wonder?
I shouldn't underestimate the prettiness of a London winter, sir.
Sorry?
As soon as you open that window, the tea will freeze in the pot. No Londoner would go opening windows at dusk in the middle of winter, I assure you.
Seems very unlikely these two would have seen anything of the incident then. Okay, well, I think that's everything.
Yeah.
Let's move
Right, let's go downstairs.
Okay, okay. Right. Mr. Natsume's room.
He's got a kitty!
Natsune Miku. What? Just look at this place. And smell it. It's so musty here. I suppose it's the mounds of old books that are responsible for that.
don't think I've ever seen so many books in all my life.
No, me neither. It's so dark in here too.
Is that the window over there?
Well, it was the window, I think, yes, once upon a time. But for some reason it's been closed up with bricks and mortar.
Window text moment.
This is where Mr. Natsume lives.
By the way, I haven't spotted Mr. Holmes anywhere, have you?
Where is he hiding?
Maybe he
No,
just
that's true.
anamorphed into that cat.
But according to what Mr. Garrett told us, the great detective should be around here somewhere investigating. Okay, let's leave the cat till last then. Could you even call this a window?
I think so. It was a window at one time, after all. Although all that remains is a frame around some bricks now.
Really, it's just a wall then, isn't it? But why would anyone deliberately brick it up like that?
I'm afraid I have no idea. Ah, perhaps Mr. Natsume painted the brick design on in a fit of whimsy. I don't
Ugh,
think
that's
so.
alarmingly feasible. Anyway, whichever the reason, the lack of a ventilation in here makes the place very oppressive.
It does. I imagine being cooped up in a room like this would be extremely trying.
Yeah, you would, like, suffocate, wouldn't you? Oh, what's this up here? Oh, I can use the mouse, I forgot. Look at all those books stacked up there. They almost reached the ceiling.
They're all works of English literature, and they all smell so musty.
With this volume of books to hand, you'd never be short of reading material, would you?
No, what a dreamy idea.
A bad dream, maybe, for me at least. Mind you, I don't imagine the book that's at the bottom of the pile now will ever be read again.
So reading it is. Reading it is an experience that comes but once in a lifetime, just as the tea ceremony teaches us.
I certainly didn't expect the conversation to turn down the path of tea ceremony philosophy. There's like a thing here. This appears to be some sort of meter on the wall here. It looks very robust. I wonder what it's for. There's a slot for inserting coins in here too.
Ah, I believe that is a gas meter, Mr. Naruhodo.
A gas meter?
Yes, it seems there is piped gas in this district, which consumers pay for by putting coins in the meter.
NASA on free gas. So if we put a coin, say if we were to put a coin in the slot.
That would be enough gas to use the lights and the gas fire for the whole night.
So if you're too poor to have a coin, you have to spend the night in the dark and freezing cold.
Jesus. That's right. As would a rich man who only carried crisp white notes.
London is a scary place.
So true.
Kitty.
Oh, look! It's a beckoning cat from home.
It's a bit big and bulky, isn't it? Surely Mr. Natsume didn't bring that Maneki Neko all the way from Japan with him.
I hardly think you're in a position to comment, Mr. Naruhodo. Are you forgetting the enormous Daruma doll that you brought in your luggage?
Well, it can be dangerous traveling abroad. I wanted a lucky charm.
Sure you did. Well, I imagine Mr. Natsume wanted the same, and this cat is sure to beckon good luck to him. Yeah, that worked out so well.
Yeah. It's not doing a very good job so far, is it?
You mustn't say such things.
I didn't say a word. Why are my eyes such a giveaway? Nothing on this.
Inspect the cat, like the actual cat.
I'll leave that till last because I feel like that's gonna trigger something.
Fair enough. That desk seems to be wedged into a crevasse between the mountains of books on either side.
I suppose Mr. Natsume would sit here and read while stroking his cat. Dr. Claw, but surrounded by on all sides by these towering old tomes. Well, he dreamt of books every night as well.
Yes, he must have done, mustn't he? Oh, this. It's a receipt from a secondhand bookshop. Your books.
Nice. Oh yes, Mr. Natsume's name is on it, look. Our date of purchase? Ah, 2 days ago at 4:45 p.m.
Is
That's
this
the
one going to be one of those look at the received things?
Okay, that's the day of the incident.
That's just a short while before he was embroiled in the terrible attack. He must have been on his way back from buying some old books.
Second-hand book receipt, okay. Crumpled up papers. Look at all these balls of paper on the floor. There are notes scrawled all over them, in English. Looks like the waste paper basket is so full they just fallen out.
I think Mr. Natsume must have been deeply immersed in his research, don't you?
Or deeply averse to tidying up his mess.
I wouldn't like to speculate which is closer to the truth.
Alright. And... this... Okay, well... Let's leave that till later.
Oh, there's Sherlock on the fucking thing.
Left.
Oh my! What an adorable little cat. Perhaps he's looking after all the books while his master is away.
I don't know about that. He disappeared into that pile of books as quick as a flash. The tricolor Mickey, was it? Do they even have that sort of cat here in Great Britain?
Perhaps Mr. Natsume brought the little creature with him from Japan.
It's made me feel homesick now.
Already? We've only been in the country for 2 days.
Alright. Nothing else.
Except him.
Yeah, except him.
Ah! Look, Mr. Naruhodo!
It's a candle! Aha! There he is! Where did he appear from?
He seems to be engrossed in the pages of an old book. I hope he won't mind if we disturb him. Hello, Mr. Holmes!
Ah, you two! Good day! Now, let me see. Where was that? Where was it that we last met?
Oh, Mr. Holmes! We were together on the SS Eau Claire.
Yes, of course, the Eau Claire. And let me see. What happened on that voyage? It was Kazuma Asogi. He died, tragically, but you were a great help to us.
He deserves.
Ah yes, but of course, the case of Mr. Asogi. It was the one with the snake, wasn't it?
Oh!
Well, you seem to remember something of it at least.
What an honor to be remembered vaguely by the great Sherlock Holmes. This is Mr.
Oh no, my dear madam, hold your tongue. I pride myself on my superior powers of recollection. Your names are safely recorded in my brain attic.
Uh-huh.
Miss Naruhodo. And Mr. Susato. Try the other way around, Mr. Holmes. Ah, I lose the first round.
So funny.
In truth, I had hoped to invite you both to my Baker Street suite on the day we arrived in London. But some Scotland Yarders ambushed me at the railway station and whisked me away to a crime scene. It was an entirely trivial case, of course. I solved the matter in no more than 30 minutes. They apprehended Suseki in that short amount of time? Well, I'm afraid the pursuance of a new case has dulled my recollection of my past involvements a little. A little? It is a mistake to think that one's brain attic has elastic walls and can descend to any extent. I do my best to forget useless facts, lest they should elbow out the useful ones. Yes, those are my own words of inimitable wisdom, you know. From an adventure entitled A Study in Scarlet. Please, there's no need to quote yourself. I don't always remember my pearls of wisdom, but fortunately my associate pens them beautifully. Means Iris, I suppose.
Mr. Holmes, we have some extremely important questions to ask you about the trivial case you just mentioned.
Goodness, what an earnest expression! My dear madam, I should be the one too pleased, only too pleased. This murky room is an apt place to discuss the murky case. Okay. Let's do this. I wrote this to be the lodgings of a Japanese foreign student by the name of Suseki Natsume. Seems that you assisted in his arrest, Mr. Holmes. For a stabbing of a young woman outside here on Briar Road. Natsume. Yes, I believe that was a name rather along those lines.
Mr. Natsume denies it. Was it really justifiable to arrest him on so little?
I'm sorry, Miss Susato. I have not the slightest idea what you mean.
What?
I can't believe he was looking for Susato squarely in the eye while feigning ignorance. I assure you, I am not merely feigning ignorance, I am ignorant. It would appear that if the pair of you are under some misapprehension. Oh, how? I assure you I have no recollection of accusing your stooped companion of the crime. But that doesn't make sense. The good detective of Scotland Yard made the following request of me, and I quote verbatim. We need you to ascertain the identity of whereabouts of a man seen fleeing the crime scene. Ah, a man seen fleeing. There was a number of books scattered on the pavement at the scene. From the book places I was quickly able to determine the bookshop of which they had been purchased. On speaking with the proprietor, I was immediately led to this address. Elementary, wouldn't you say? I believe there is a receipt around here somewhere from the establishment in question. So don't you think Mr. Natsume is the... So you don't think the Mr. Natsume is the culprit then? That I could not tell you. But it was aggravating my faculties, hence why I returned here. However, this place is such a trove of fascinating books, I found myself quite lost in bibliophily. Do not be deceived to believe that I am a man of leisure. No, no, no.
Oh dear.
Ah, tell me, have you encountered the landlord of these lodgings? Yes, Mr. Garidep, a retired military man.
It was the first time I've ever met a soldier from the great British institution that is the services.
It was the first time I've ever met a maid from the great British institution that is service. I didn't think it was that funny. I do apologize. As you may well be aware, many households in London employ a maid.
Yeah, I read as much in my Great Britain primer.
And so, conversely, whether or not a household employs a maid has come to betoken the social standing of one of those dwelling therein. Betoken their social standing? Sorry? Put simply, my dear fellow, those who employ at least a single maid are considered middle class. Those who do not are beneath that.
Jeez.
In the upper echelons of society, of course, households employ enough staff to constitute a large family.
Goodness, how extraordinary.
As you can appreciate, for those on the precarious boundary between the middle and lower classes, being able to afford just one maid is of the first importance. I had no idea. And it is for precisely that reason I find great stimulation in the situation upstairs. Specifically in the retired army veteran, Mr. John Garidep. Oh? Affable as he is, the fellow is hiding something. Whether or not it imposes on the circumstance of this case, I am as yet unable to ascertain. I'm thoroughly lost on what he means to say. The Dinghy Room. This room is thoroughly suffocating for the soul, my dear fellow. I assure you, any man whose lot is to dwell in a place such as this will stab somebody sooner or later.
Oh. Mr. Natsume has stabbed no one.
But sooner or later, as I said.
I don't believe that's the issue here.
About this dark little room, Mr. Holmes. Why is there no longer a window? Do you have any idea? No window?
Text.
Well, I mean, I can clearly see that there's a window of sorts. But it's been completely blocked with bricks. I see. The answer to that question is quite simple. Window tax. Oh, yeah, there we go. Window
there
tax?
It is.
What is that?
Surely not a tax on windows.
Precisely that.
No. Oh my goodness.
You want fresh air? Fuck you. Until relatively recently, a tax was levied on households in this country by a number of their windows. Those of lesser means, having inherited a sizable and costly family home, perhaps, rapidly closed windows up. While the rich open windows here, there, and everywhere. In an effort to curry flavor with those in power by furnishing them with large sums of tax money.
Of course. How awful and unjust! Forcing people to live in rooms devoid of light.
Indeed, disease was rife as a result. Some 40 years ago, or thereabouts, the window tax was abolished. But its legacy remains, as you can see, in squalid lodgings such as these, for example. Was Mr. Natsume's stipend for living here in London isn't very generous, perhaps. Would appear so. I've done a little digging, and discovered that these lodgings were offered at an extraordinarily low price.
Because the room is so awful, I should think.
Apparently Mr. Natsume only moved in here about 1 week ago. Yes, that's correct. However, I don't believe the low rent is explained by the shabby nature of the accommodation. Oh? Still, that is of little relevance here. A matter not worthy of further attention. Are you sure? I'm curious now. Well, I believe I've told you all I can now. Thank you, Mr. Holmes. Ah, yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Was it not your intention to become a practitioner of the law? You remembered that, did you? Will you perhaps be offering your services in this very matter, I wonder? To the occupant of this room, Mr. Natsume, was it?
He remembered.
I'm not sure. Not sure? On what grounds? Well, I actually defended someone in court here only yesterday. Really? Well then, I congratulate you, sir, on an ambition realized, and so promptly, too. Thing is, really made me question things. Am I right to believe in my clients? To trust in their innocence? Yes, trust. Mr. Holmes, Mr. Natsume didn't do it, did he? My dear fellow, I haven't the first idea. Oh, but
Hey, buddy.
I thought that's why you were here. Didn't you come back to investigate? Ah, yes, that was indeed my initial intention. But there are simply too many fascinating books here. I couldn't possibly ignore them. Oh, I see. Nevertheless, there are two facts that I can state quite unequivocally. The man who fled the scene of the crime 2 days ago was the Japanese occupant of this room, and there are witnesses who swear to having seen the same man commit the crime. That is all I can say. Ah, and one more thing.
Oh, what is it, Mr. Holmes? Tell us.
I cannot say with any certainty whether or not it is of relevance to this case, but I am quite sure that the retired armyman who owns this property is hiding something.
No shit.
Mr. Gardev is... Mr. Hobbs said as much before, actually, didn't he? Anyway, at present, that is really all that plays on my mind in relation to this case.
Mr. Naruhodo, as yet our investigations have uncovered nothing that could help establish Mr. Natsume's innocence.
No, you're right. Perhaps it's time we probed a little deeper into Mr. Gardepp's secret. Just remember, I cannot be sure whether the landlord's secret will prove to be of relevance or not. Well, I wish you every success, of course, Mr. Naruhodo.
He's so cool.
A busy man indeed. Come back to his book in the corner of the room.
So true. Should we finish up soon?
Yes.
I don't think there's much else we can really do. Like, that would take a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Like getting into
We should probably finish up here, actually. Like here.
Like right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do this later.
Fair enough.
Or like near the end of the second part, I think, so should probably take
Yeah.
like maybe an hour next time.
What, the rest of the case, or?
No, just the investigation.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's not even the next day yet. Like, the court isn't even in session.
Yeah.
No shit, these take so long.
Yeah. Okay, let's save again. Just to be sure. Oh, what? The title screen is here, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't notice that if that did that before, but okay.
I think it did.
Okay.
We just don't know because we usually, like, we cut in, like, in the courtroom.
Yeah.
Or, like, in after each case.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's
there you
cool.
go.
That's a nice detail. Alright, well that's the end of the stream. I'm fucking hungry, so I can't really do
I'm
much more
tired.
of this. Yeah, it's like 20... It's like 11 p.m.
Almost
for you?
11.
Yeah.
Almost 11, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll continue this next week as usual. And
Yeah.
maybe on Monday I will do like a Half-Life stream, maybe, of Black Mesa. That'd be fine.
Very cool.
Yep. Alright, see you all, and good night. Have a good one. Bye bye.
Uh,